Good day and welcome to Xintory.com's online webinar. This webinar will take approximately 30 minutes, so we hope you can take a deep breath, put your feet up, and relax with us for a few minutes while we take you through our presentation. Xintory.com is the floor covering industry's only universal online marketplace to sell and buy overstocks, drops, and specials. Before we get into the presentation, I'd like to tell you a little bit about your presenter today. My name is Larry Feldman. I've spent 30 years in the floor covering industry. I served as president of Superior Products, a mid-Atlantic floor covering distribution company back in the 1990s. In 2000, I left Superior and started a management and financial consulting practice, both in the floor covering industry and in unrelated industries. One of the things I observe both in floor covering and in other industries is a lot of my clients had aged inventory that they did not seem to be able to sell on a timely or economical basis. In fact, I had one client in the floor covering business that would take annual physical inventories at the end of each year, and they had the practice of using different colored stickers that they would put on cartons or rolls of carpet each year to indicate that they were counted. And sometimes I would walk through their warehouse and see cartons with 10 or more colored stickers on them, which means that those cartons had actually been in the warehouse for 10 or more years. And I actually don't think that's so unusual in our business and in other industries. So 2 years ago, we formed a group that started a new company with a funny name called Xintory, which is short for Inventory Exchange. The first year we developed the site. Then the second year, last year, we tested the site and we talked to some manufacturers, distributors, and a lot of dealers to get feedback. So the site you're about to see is really a compilation of a lot of the great ideas that we've had from many people in the industry that we have spoken with. Xintory.com is only open to the floor covering trade, manufacturers, distributors, retail and commercial dealers, and installers. We do not sell to the public. Benefits for the floor covering trade. First of all, we hope to put more money in your pocket. Everything that is listed for sale in our site is someone else's unwanted inventory. And the assumption is that they're going to have to sell that inventory at significantly less than they originally paid for it. Otherwise, our buyers would purchase that product or a comparable product from their regular distributor or manufacturer. We also provide a national marketplace to sell your unwanted inventory quickly. Suppose you're a dealer and you purchase something for stock that you thought would sell, but it's been 18 months now and it's still on your floor, or perhaps you purchased something and the customer canceled or changed their mind and you got left with the inventory. Here's an opportunity where you can offer that inventory for sale to other members of the floor covering trade throughout North America. We also intend for Xintory.com to become the industry's one-stop shop to find discontinued products and die lots. Sometimes you may sell something off a sample on the floor and find out that it has been discontinued, or you're in the middle of a job and you run short and you need something in the same die lot and find out it's not available from the manufacturer or distributor. And we are expecting Xintory.com to become a repository for that kind of material that you can find elsewhere. Now we're going to jump to our website, go directly online. We're going to be using what we call our demo site today. It's not the live site. The reason is so that I can perform certain transactions without changing any of the material on the live site. I can tell you that all of the material we're going to see then is sample information. The manufacturer's styles, colors, and the specifications of the products you're going to see are real. But since manufacturers don't list prices for their products, candidly, we made up the prices. So we hope as we go through this demonstration, you can ignore the prices that you see. Scrolling down, sellers convert your overstocks, drops, and other unwanted inventory to cash. Find buyers fast through our online marketplace devoted strictly to the floor covering trade, manufacturers, distributors, dealers, and installers throughout North America. We have both customers and sellers in the United States and Canada. Buyers, improve your bottom line by buying below manufacturer's cost. We have what we call a buyer-seller protection plan. I will go into a little bit more detail about that later in this presentation. But the way Xintory works, it's actually double blind. The sellers and the buyers do not know who each other are until the transaction is completed. The way payment works is that buyers actually pay Xintory in advance for their purchase. Xintory holds the buyer's money until the buyer tells us that they received the material as expected, after which we will then cut a check immediately to the seller. I'm not going to read all of this text to you. You can do that on your own by going to xintory.com. I do want to point out that we consider ourselves a green company, however, since we are trying to find alternate uses for material that might otherwise wind up in a landfill. Now, the first thing you want to do when you come on to Xintory, first of all, is sign in. So you hit the sign in button. If you're a new customer, you hit start here, and you fill out all of the information here on the website. Since I already have a login, however, I am going to log in under my own name here and sign into the site. We have got, actually I will show you here that when you do log on to the site, it takes you immediately to our account settings page. We ask for your federal tax ID number. One of the reasons we're asking for that, or really the only reason we're asking for that, is to filter out consumers that presumably would not have that information. We also ask for your company name, company address, website, and we will be policing this to make sure that everybody using the site does have a legitimate business in the floor covering industry. Going back to our home page, we have all floor covering products covered here: carpet, broadloom, carpet tile, rugs and runner, sheet vinyl, both commercial and residential, a luxury vinyl tile, both commercial and residential, vinyl composition tile, wood, laminates, a whole host of ceramic tile and stone products, cushion, rubber, even accessories, tools, base, adhesives, sundries, cleaners, even display fixtures that a retail dealer could possibly have in a showroom that they don't want any longer. I'm going to jump into the wood category for our demonstration today. First of all, you can sort by any one of these column headings. If you want to find a particular manufacturer, you can simply hit these column headings here and sort alphabetically. You can sort by collection, color, construction. Let's say that you're a dealer and you have a customer that comes in that wants hickory product. You can sort by species and see all the hickory products that might be available for sale. Another powerful tool was actually to sort by the quantity. So let's say you're a dealer and a customer comes in and is looking for 300 square feet of hardwood to put in the family room. You could go to our site and you could see somebody that may be selling product that's close to 300 feet or maybe a little bit more that might meet your customer's requirements. We also have filters here, which allow you to really drill down if you're looking for something in particular. You can check off manufacturers, collection, construction, species, any one of these or multiple of these filters, again, to drill down to something that you're looking for. Now, we also have something here called a distance filter. So let's say you're a dealer in Atlanta and this customer comes in looking for 300 square feet of wood, and you decide to look on our site to see what you may be able to find at a great price. But you know in this case that you don't want to pay for freight from Portland, Oregon. So with the distance filter, you can adjust it to any distance you want. It goes down to as low as 50 miles. So by putting it down to 50 miles, you're actually hiding everything that's being sold that's more than 50 miles from your zip code or postal code. However, let's say that you are a dealer and you sell something off a sample on your floor and find out that actually it's been discontinued by the mill. In that case, you may very well, if you're a dealer in Atlanta, be willing to pay for freight from Portland, Oregon, if you can find a distributor that may still have product in stock to meet your customers' requirements. I'm going to hide the filters for a minute. And actually, I'm going to go back to I'm going to refresh my screen to put everything back in alphabetical order. We also have something brand new, which is a photo grid view. So instead of seeing our chart here, if you prefer to see photographs and scroll down to look at your products in this manner, all you have to do is hit the photo view. And if you want to go back to the table that we have, you can go back and hit the table grid. Now, we do have proprietary technology at Xintory that if a seller just gives us the manufacturer's name, collection, or style and color, we can actually find that product, or link that product, I should say, to the manufacturer's website. So the photograph you're seeing here is actually the photograph on Anderson's website for Bryson 2 4S plank. If I double click it, we get a larger picture here. Or we can scroll down and look at other products here. This is Anderson Costa to Blanca hammered clove, and this is actually the picture on their website that they have for that product. If we scroll down to Bruce products, here's Bruce Cannondale Cappuccino. And in fact, if I click the product link right on top of this photograph, we take the buyer directly to the manufacturer's website for that exact item. Here is Bruce's Maple Cappuccino. The buyer can now see a larger picture of the product, and perhaps even more importantly, the buyer can see all the specifications that the manufacturer has on their site for the product. We do this to help our sellers promote and communicate to the buyer exactly what's being sold, and of course we're trying to help the buyers understand exactly precisely what the material is that they're looking at to purchase. Let's say we want to go ahead and purchase this Bruce Cannondale Cappuccino. This is as easy to purchase something on our site as it is with Amazon.com. All you do is add it to your cart. We will then go to our cart. We see the product here, Bruce Cappuccino, 2 1/4 inch, 350 square feet. We have a summary of the transaction here. Our fees are very transparent. We charge 6% on each side of the transaction. And what we mean by that is if you're a seller and you sell something for $100, we will pay you $94. And if you're a buyer and you buy something for $100, we will charge you $106. And we work on the spread between the 94 and the 106. However, I want to emphasize here that there is no cost whatsoever to list any product on our site, and there is no cost whatsoever to search for any product on our site. The only time you pay the 6% fee is if and when you complete a transaction. There are 3 ways to pay for your purchase. You can pay by credit card, you can pay by check or wire transfer. If you click on the credit card button, if you are a buyer with more than one location, when you register with us, you can put in each of those locations, and we give you a drop-down box here so you can choose the location you want this purchase to go to. You can give us a purchase order number if you so desire. We're going to summarize the transaction for you again. And I'm not going to do this here to save a few moments, but if you put in your credit card number and hit the pay button, within 15 to 20 seconds, our seller will get an email with a complete bill of sale of what was sold. And now the seller will be given the buyer's information, who the buyer is, and the buyer's contact information. And the buyer will be sent an email simultaneously summarizing what was purchased, and will be given the contact information for the seller. When a seller registers with us, a seller can designate a primary contact at their place of business. So the buyer will then be given the primary contact's name, email address, telephone number to arrange for pickup and for shipping for the material. One other thing I want to show on the buyer side here, and that is that we have something new called Deal of the Day, and that's right on our homepage here. And when you go with the Deal of the Day, we feature one product at a super special price that is only available for a 24-hour period. It will automatically rotate every 24 hours. I believe it's at midnight every night. So we certainly hope that you will visit the site as frequently as possible, possibly daily. to check to see what specials are being offered on the site, and particularly the deal of the day. We're getting new products listed by sellers every single day, so we hope that you will come and check the site frequently and see what exceptional values may be available before somebody else gets them. I'm going to now segue to the seller side. And one of the most powerful features of our site are different pricing options that we provide to our sellers. And I'm going to walk you through each of these pricing options now. First of all, we have what we call the partial quantity price adjustment. So let's say that you're a commercial dealer and you complete a job, and at the end of the job you find you've got 2,000 square feet of hardwood left over. It turns out that your estimator made a mistake. And since for most commercial dealers, most of what you purchase is specified, we understand it's very difficult to sell your last job's leftovers to your next customer. So let's say that you decide to list the product on our site to sell it to another member of the trade. So you'd like nothing better than to sell all 2,000 feet to one buyer, but you know that that may not be possible. And when you list the product with us, and I'll show you how you do this in a few minutes, you decide you'll take as little as 500 feet from any one buyer. But you also decide that if somebody buys a partial quantity, if they buy 500 feet, they should pay a higher price than somebody that buys the entire 2,000 feet. You'll want to give a special incentive to somebody to buy the entire lot. So this gives you the opportunity to do that. This setting right here shows that if anybody purchases between 500 feet and in this example 1,999 feet, they'll be charged a 20% upcharge. And if they buy the entire 2,000 feet, they'll be charged the initial base price that our seller provides. This is an option, however. If you say as a seller, no, I don't really want to be bothered with this, whatever, I'm going to have one price no matter what quantity somebody buys, then you simply don't check this off, and whatever base price you give us remains for any quantity. Then we have something called our automatic price reduction. And this feature is used if you absolutely positively need to sell your product and you're willing to lower the price over time if it doesn't sell. So right now we have settings here at 60% and 4 weeks. We always lower the price automatically over 4 intervals. So in this case, the seller is telling us that they're willing to come down to as low as 60% of their initial base price, and that they want to reduce the price every 4 weeks. So what would happen with these settings here is that for the first 4 weeks, the product would remain at the initial base price that the seller gives us. 4 weeks later, it would go down to 90% of that price. 4 weeks later, 80%. 4 weeks later, 70%. And then after 16 weeks, the price would drop down to 60% of the initial base price and remain there. Let's say instead of 60%, I want to have a 20% reduction and I want to go down to 80%, but I want to do it faster. I want to do it every 2 weeks. So in this case, the price will go down by 5% every 2 weeks, and after 8 weeks, we'll go down to 80% of the initial price. Again, this is an option. If you say the price that you're going to put in initially is the lowest price that you'd ever be willing to sell that product, then you give us that price. You just don't check off this box, and whatever base price you give us remains until the product is sold. Sellers can also elect whether or not to accept counteroffers or not. Right now, the Allow button is selected, and what happens in this case is that when a buyer highlights a product on one of our charts, next to that item, there will appear an icon that says Make an Offer, and a buyer will then be able to make a counteroffer to the seller. I will demonstrate how this works in a few minutes. If a seller does not want to accept counteroffers, then a seller would select the Do Not Allow button, and then when a buyer highlights the seller's product, that icon does not appear. So the buyer would have no choice but to pay the price listed or not to purchase the product. We also allow sellers to elect if they will accept sample requests or not. Right now we have selected the Allow. We recognize this is a little bit awkward because, as I said earlier, the site's double blind. So actually the seller would ship to our company, Xintory, the sample. On the same day, we would turn it around and reship it to the buyer. We do charge the buyer $30 for a sample. We do that, quite frankly, to make sure that the buyer has serious interest in purchasing the product, and also to help cover the shipping costs. We will pay the sellers $15 for the sample to help cover their handling and shipping costs, and we keep $15 for the same purpose. As far as freight options are concerned, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. In most cases, sellers will elect for the buyer to pay the freight. One of the reasons is if we have our dealer in Atlanta and the dealer is trying to sell some inventory out of their stock that didn't sell as expected, when the dealer lists that inventory for sale, the dealer will not know if that buyer is 100 miles away or 2,000 miles away. So in most cases, the seller will elect for the buyer to pay. When a buyer highlights an item at the bottom of our screen, it does show the seller's zip code, and we do ask the seller for weight and other shipping information. So a buyer, before they make any commitment, can call a freight company and tell the freight company, for instance, they have 1,500 feet of hardwood coming from a certain zip code, and they can get an estimate of the freight rate before they make any commitment. We do have some options which may apply more to distributors or manufacturers, or perhaps retail dealers that may have stores in multiple states, that if you have trucks or delivery vehicles in several states and you're willing to deliver the product yourself, if a buyer is in those states, you can tell us in what states, if the buyer is located, the seller will drop off the product for a set delivery charge. And in any other state where a buyer would be located, then the buyer would be responsible for the freight. But for right now, we're just going to say the buyer pays the freight. Restrict purchases to selected states would only apply to, for the most part, distributors like Armstrong or Mannington that can only sell their drop product, discontinued product, in their territory, and we allow them to restrict the sale into particular areas. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on sales tax locations other than to say that if you're a seller registered to pay sales tax in certain states, you can tell us what states those are. We will collect the tax for you from the buyer, forward the tax money to the seller to be remitted to the appropriate state authority. We also have the ability, when a user registers with us, to upload their resale certificate. And if we have their resale certificate, we will not charge them tax, and we will send the seller a copy of the buyer's resale certificate along with the confirmation email and bill of sale. If we're happy with our account settings, we save the settings here. And one thing I didn't mention is these account settings apply universally to all the products that a seller lists with us. The reason we're doing that, we have one distributor, for instance, that has uploaded close to 400 line items, and we think it would be too burdensome to ask a seller to set these settings for every item. So this applies to all items, whether you've uploaded one item or 400 items with us. If you do have a certain set of products where you want a different set of settings, then the best thing to do will be to set up two separate accounts with us, one account with one set of settings, one account with another set of settings, and we can actually link those accounts together because we do have a tab that will give you sales history on what you sold on Xintory. So one of the last things I want to show you in our demonstration is how to upload inventory. So we're going to inventory. This page takes a moment to upload. And then we're going to go to add inventory as soon as this page does upload. Now there are two ways to upload a product. If you have a lot of product with us, we give you the ability to upload your complete drop list to Xintory. And what we will do is we will do our best to map your drop list to our template, and then we will send back your listing to you in a pending file. Here it's just uploading now. And it goes to a pending file. This is where you go if you want to upload your drop list to us. It goes to a pending file, so you have the opportunity to make sure everything's listed correctly before it goes live. If instead of sending us your drop list and having us match it to our template, some sellers are asking us for a template in advance. If you click this download product template, you get a whole series of Excel spreadsheets. And if you as a seller want to, you can map it to our Excel template, and then you can choose that file and upload it. again, we will upload it to a pending file. However, what I want to do here for illustration purposes is show you what you would do if you were only uploading a few items to us and you thought it was just as easy to manually input each item. So the first thing you have to do is choose your category, and the set of boxes you get here will be different based on what category that you choose. So the first question here is if you as a dealer or a distributor have your own stock keeping unit, different from the manufacturers, we allow you to put that here. Then we put in the name of the manufacturer, and let's just say today the manufacturer is going to be Henry's Famous, oh, didn't put an apostrophe here, let's spell it right, Henry's Famous Wood Floors, Great Mill. Okay, the collection is going to be the Forest Collection. The color is natural. The construction, let's say, is solid. Let's say we've got a maple product. It is going to be 3 1/4 inches wide. It is going to be 3/4 inches thick. The bevel, let's say, is a micro bevel. Let's say it has a satin gloss. It's first quality, although everything we assume is going to be first quality unless otherwise stated. Let's say that there are going to be 25 feet per carton. The manufacturer's SKU number, let's say, is this. You can put any other comments, anything else you want to communicate to the buyer here. If you're a seller and you have more than one shipping location, you can register those locations with us. We'll give you a drop-down box to indicate which shipping location this particular product's in. As I said earlier, we have the capability to automatically locate the product on the manufacturer's website if we're just given the manufacturer's name, style, and color. However, if you want to give us the manufacturer's URL, their website address, you can do that here. We give you the ability to upload a photograph. Let's say you've got some marble in your warehouse. It's been there for 4 years. You're not going to find probably a website that exactly duplicates the product you have. So if you like, you can take a photograph of it and upload the photograph here. Shipping weight, we want to get information so our buyers can get the most accurate freight rate that they can. Let's just say it's 1.5 pounds per square foot. Let's say there are 40 cartons per pallet, and the pallets are 48 inches each. Let's say we've got 2,000 feet of wood. To continue on the same example, we're willing to sell a minimum of 500. And let's say we want to sell this product for $2.49. We're going to save and finish. And as I mentioned before, this automatically gets uploaded to a pending file. It takes a second to upload. And this gives you the opportunity, here it's come up now. This is Henry's Famous Wood Floors, natural forest, 3 1/4 inches wide, everything that we put in. We don't have the ability to put everything on the horizontal bar here, so we do have additional information here on the vertical bar. We try to put the most important information on the horizontal bar, and things like how many square feet per carton, how many cartons per pallet, and that kind of thing down here in the vertical bar. If this looks okay to you, you just hit the Update All button, and the update, it will disappear from our pending file. I'm now going to go back to the home site, home page. I'm going to go back to wood flooring. And we have a keyword search box which will come up, hopefully in a second. And we're just going to put in here Henry. And actually we have 2 products from Henry's Famous Wood Floors. This is from another demonstration that I did. But we can see our product here, maple 3 1/4 inch, 2,000 square feet. And all the information here for the product is listed exactly as we had input. Now I'm going to go back to the main screen. I do want to show you before we leave today how the make an offer button works. So let's say that you're interested in purchasing this Anderson Bryson 2 4S plank, but you think that $1.75 is too high. So let's say you want to offer instead $1.29. So we're going to offer the seller $1.29. I want to make sure we've got our decimal point in there. and we're going to now submit our offer. So what happens is within seconds, the seller will get an email in their regular email box that an offer has been made on Xintory.com, and there'll be a link on their email. All they have to do is click the link, and they will be taken directly to their Xintory mailbox. Now, as the buyer here, okay, it's showing us that we just made an offer of $1.29 for this particular product. Now, the seller, okay, is going to get, when they come here, they're going to get a different set of boxes. They're going to get these 3 boxes. The middle box says reject the offer. The seller could say, no, $1.29 is just too low. I'm going to reject it. And the buyer would then get an email that their offer's been rejected. The seller, if they select the accept offer box here, then accepts the offer, the buyer will then get an email in their regular email box that the offer's been accepted. They can click on a link, take the buyer directly to their email box here, and the buyer will have a box that says add to cart. The buyer can then add it to the cart and complete the transaction. The buyer is not obligated actually until the transaction is completed. We also, however, give the seller an opportunity to make a counteroffer. So let's say the seller feels in this case that $1.29 is too low, but they'll consider selling it at $1.49. So the seller can then make a counteroffer by clicking this button. The process repeats. The buyer gets an email that they've had a counteroffer made on Xintory. They go to their box and they can either accept it and add the product to their cart and complete the purchase, or not purchase the product. We have made a decision, however, that an infinite ping pong match is not in anybody's best interest. So we do end the negotiation at this point. So if a seller elects to accept a counteroffer from a buyer, then a buyer can make a counteroffer. That icon appears next to the item. The seller, if they choose, can make another counteroffer to the buyer. At that point, the negotiation stops. The buyer can either purchase the product at the price or not. So that is, for the most part, a conclusion of our webinar today. We have shown that from the buyer's perspective, we make it very easy to find whatever product you're looking for, to drill down with our filters and with our keyword search boxes if you're looking for something in particular. And we do hope, again, that our buyers will check the site frequently, as new product is being added every day, every hour in some cases. And we hope you'll come back to see what specials are being offered. And for our sellers, we certainly hope that our sellers will consider putting product onto our site. I just lost my PowerPoint, so I'm going to go back to this for a second and enlarge that box here. So if anybody does have any questions, this is my contact information, Larry Feldman. Please feel free to contact me at any time by email or by telephone. We'd love to talk to you. If you want to have a live demo, we'd certainly be glad to set up a personal demo for you as well. Thank you very much for joining us today. We certainly are looking forward to hearing back from you with regard to your feedback, and certainly hope you will consider using Xintory.com to sell and purchase specials in the industry. Thank you very much, and have a great day.